es bueno.
Okay. No,
Right there.
Sí, 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 está bien.
Right there. And take that closed, that convenient spot. Not right at the elbow.
Right.
And here we're looking at how the kitchen was. This was a 30-year-old cabinet, and it was still in okay shape. Someone along the lines had painted it, and I don't think they used cabinet paint, and it just didn't wear well. As you can see, we're putting the gator shield down here, and this gator shield is pretty nice product. I'll be honest with you, we've done away with some of the other products and have went strictly to gator shield just for the simple fact and ease of the use of it. Water's not leaking, right? If the water's leaking, that's the first thing we gotta address. Anyway, the homeowner says, hey, we want to make a few changes. We want to open up this area between the fridge and the peninsula and do a few, upgrades. So that's what we try to do here for this homeowner. As you can see, there's some dated things about it. The guys are removing the appliances, and we're carrying them out to the garage and storing them for the homeowner because they're going to sell them or whatever it is that they're going to do. They actually reused the microwave, I believe, and the dishwasher. And the faucet, the kitchen faucet. We actually wound up reusing that as well. I believe the rest of it, well, the refrigerator was also reused. But they did put a new stove and a new sink. As you can see, I really prefer a clean job, even when you're doing demolition. The problem is most of our projects are remodels, okay? And what that means is the homeowner's going to be living in this house, and they're going to be in here living in this house, using this house, and as we go, we want to keep this thing as clean as we can because, they don't want to have to clean up after us. As you see, we continue on removing some appliances and different things, and the guys are preparing the rest of the kitchen for demolition, and they're getting ready to start pulling backsplash off and countertop off, and they're removing the rollout trays, and shortly here they'll start removing the doors. We like to peel everything off that is possible so that when we start removing these cabinets that they come apart easily. Well, there's still going to be a fight. We're still going to have to unscrew them and beat some of them off, and sometimes they come off easier than others. Sometimes the screws get stuck. Sometimes we have other issues. I know, but the thing is, we need to not. I don't even want to do that from now on. So, and there's ways of not doing that. Sometimes a homeowner is going to request that we save some pieces. We always tell them the same thing. We can try to save it, but there's no guarantees. I never promise any saving of anything because sometimes, demolition is physical. It's, brutal at times. I've instructed the guys here to make multiple cuts as far as cutting the grout. It isn't even cutting the grout that I'm concerned with. It's the silicone or the caulking or whatever. We're trying to remove all of that so that we can remove these countertops relatively easily here. They can be quite difficult if they've got a bunch of silicone or some sort of caulk in there holding them down, and they're already heavy. The countertops are very heavy. The big quartz slabs for the islands and stuff now, they can be close to 1,000 pounds. They're extremely heavy. So these smaller pieces are, 200 pounds or whatever that total weight is. As you can see here, the guys are carrying out appliances and using that lift to take them down so they don't have to carry them down the stairs. I believe it probably took a little more time, but it helps to not get someone hurt, and it was there, so let's use it. That's a warning sign, probably. One of the things we're talking about here is, you can't hardly see it in the video, but that drain that goes into the wall there was almost plugged, completely plugged with, it looked like grease.
Well, muy caliente, right? You ready? Yeah. Okay. You got the knife? Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay? Yeah, the base must be in before template. Okay, do this one.
Instructing here, this is a temp guy. Sometimes when we do demolition, we bring in some temp help. They work for another guy in town here, and we call him up and request how many guys we need for the day, and he'll send them over, and they help out. They're polite, they do what we ask. Good guys. Anyway, for stuff like this, they're perfect. They come in, they give us the extra oomph that we need to get, over the hump for the heavy, hard work. Sometimes they don't always understand what they're doing. The guy on the right here with the trim, he's doing it completely incorrect, and I obviously wasn't paying much attention to him at the time, but that's okay. He wound up getting it.
Oh, those aren't, but this right here does.
I don't want to draw any.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to.
I'm fine.
What, are you done with what you're doing? I can always give you something else to do. Huh?
Well, as far as this goes, everything's disconnected, calls is disconnected, everything's take away off the parts over there.
We're not saving the sink, so that's fine. So let's clean up. All the sink parts saved, right?
What I try to do is give people instructions on how to do things. The guy might be thinking one thing in his mind, and I might be talking 3 steps ahead of him or 3 steps behind him. And, it's hard sometimes to communicate effectively, even when you're standing right there, when a guy doesn't exactly understand how to do something. Most people, I think, learn by doing. As you can see, our cameraman is been helping us with this. He helped us pull some appliances out, and he's getting right in there and shooting some video. It's always a bit of a struggle when you're taking stuff apart. You're trying to save things. We're attempting to save this garbage disposal here, and I believe we did. I believe that we installed this garbage disposal back because the homeowner wanted to do that. sometimes installing used appliances is more difficult, though. I will say that. And we always have to replace like wear items and
You don't want nails on the ground. No nails on the ground, you know.
I want to see what's going on there.
I was explaining to him to remove the screws and, start pulling all that off and leave one that's going to be easily accessible so that when you're ready to take it apart, another guy can help you and just pop one off, that last screw off, and start carrying it out.
That's good. That's what I needed to see. Nah, just leave it. It's okay. Let me see your knife. Now you guys are doing a nice job of keeping the job site clean and stuff. I like that.
We use quite a few people on the demolition side. I do like to get the demolition done in one day, if at all possible. It's not always possible, but we do like to use several guys just to make it easier. So sometimes you might see where it seems like we're standing around not paying attention and stuff, but once in a while we gotta wait for somebody to clear out, or we need to, do whatever. Need to do this before we can do that.
Alright, next thing I want you to do is take that excussion off. Let him finish that, but take that excussion off underneath there and tape that closed. Not right at the elbow. Right. You're going to want to cut somewhere in the middle. We need to be able to leave them enough room to tie back on. So you're going to have to go underneath there, find a spot. So, go ahead and try it right here. Yeah, I know. But if you go right there, go right here. Pick up.
Currently, where I'm at, we're talking about removing the backsplash, and the guys had started doing that. And the thing is, the homeowner believed that we could remove the backsplash from the drywall. And this happens more often than not. We have to explain to the homeowner more often than not that we can't really do this very effectively. If that tile was installed even somewhat well, we wind up tearing up more of the drywall than what it's worth. And we don't want to be putting new tile or some sort of a new backsplash on some really cracked up, busted up, drywall. Then we're going to have to patch it all up and everything. So you'll see what actually happened here is we peeled enough off to make sure that the homeowner understood that we tried, and to show them that all we're going to do is destroy the drywall by removing the tile. Ideally, if we could have removed the tile with the countertop still on there, it would have made, cleanup fairly easy. But it turned out, as I suspected, that the backsplash was secured too well to the drywall, and we wound up needing to cut drywall to get and then just pulling the tile up. That might be why it looks like we're kind of wasting time or doing things we shouldn't be doing. Here you see we're working it in a couple of different spots so that we can prove, again, to the homeowner basically that we don't want to really do it this way, and it's not the best option for their kitchen. A lot of times there's more than one way to do a project. We can do this or we can do that. And sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not advisable. And speaking of not advisable, the way these guys are carrying this countertop out is not the way they should be doing it. You want to carry it on its edge. I'm going to show them how I want them to carry this next one, because the thing is, this countertop could actually snap if it's not supported. If it's got a big enough span and no support horizontally, it will actually snap on you, and then it could wind up breaking somebody's leg or causing some damage, or God knows what. So as you see here, I've taught them to carry the countertop in a vertical position like this. And again, this sink being in the middle here on this one, this is kind of precarious too. So this stuff is very brittle and it could break quite easily. We try to remove the cabinetry in one piece, It's easier to just take it outside and break it down, throw it in the dumpster in flat pieces. That's why we break it down, so that we can throw it in the dumpster in flat pieces, as opposed to, needing two dumpsters. These are expensive. Demolition is expensive. So, see how they're carrying that vertically? It's stronger that way, less apt to snap. You can see my camera guy in there shooting his video, helping us get some decent shots.
Continue. Take this one out. Yeah. Okay.
So the way this was done was, there was an applied panel to the back of these cabinets, and that was the back side of the island or peninsula, I guess it is.
Okay, sir, this one. Look, two. Now we can the door.
Yeah. Okay. Good, sir.
You can see them out here breaking this cabinet down. This is what I was talking about. So we break it into flat pieces. It becomes a pretty big mess in the yard, but we clean it up, throw it in the dumpster, and I can haul twice as much when it's flat like that, as opposed to big boxes. I'd have probably 3 dump loads. We use dump trailers as well. Look at the pooch. That is one of the friendliest dogs you'll ever meet. Just Mr. Mellow and calm. And anyway, we love our dogs. We love our pooches. Our customers' dogs always. I just love seeing the dogs. And even we have a customer currently with this cat. It's the most incredible cat. Just got so full of perky attitude. It's just hilarious. So as you can see, that's the back side of a panel for the back side of that peninsula. It's not like it was a wall or anything. This was not a custom kitchen. This was a store-bought kitchen.
Now I was able to dip out at around midnight, but
It's 9:12. I told you it probably
Yeah,
We continued with the demolition. We returned to the job to install the cabinets after the drywall was done. And I would highly encourage you to check that video out.
You'll see there's a trick to it. Kind of